watching NFL Daily, powered by Chat Sports. I am Tyler Jones, and the NFL schedule is out. So with that in mind, what we're going to do here on today's show is I got the top 10 list of must-see TV games that you need to watch this season. Appointment viewing, if you will. We'll go over my list of the games that you have to find a way to watch in some way, shape, or form, whether it takes you a streaming service or watching on Sunday Ticket, or maybe it's a primetime game. You got to stop whatever you're doing to watch these 10 games we'll talk about here on today's show. Before we do, I want to know, which NFL game are you most looking forward to this upcoming season? No wrong answers here. Just let me know in the chat. Which one are you most excited about? Chime in the comment section and let us know what you think. Number one on my list is the Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. This game will take place in late October from Santa Clara. And I got to tell you, we saw last year a really good Super Bowl rematch when the Eagles got revenge on the Chiefs and won that Monday night game. I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to come in hungry in this game. And the rivalry, if you will, we've seen some really good games between these two teams. We've seen them in 2 Super Bowls. We've seen some regular season matchups. I'm excited about this one here to see what the Niners have cooked up. And it'll be a good measuring stick. Entering 2024, these are the 2 favorites again in their respective conferences. It'll be a good mark to see where these teams are at 7 weeks into the season. Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Part 2. Let's get to it. I'm excited about that. Another game I'm excited about, featuring the Kansas City Chiefs, it is the NFL opening night game, a rematch of the AFC Championship between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs will raise the championship banner to celebrate their most recent Super Bowl title on this night. The Baltimore Ravens looking to spoil the party after the Chiefs came into Baltimore and pulled off the upset to advance to the Super Bowl by beating Baltimore. Lamar Jackson and company taking on Patrick Mahomes, 2 of the best young quarterbacks in football. Lamar coming off that MVP campaign. I think we're in for an exciting matchup between these 2 teams. It is appointment viewing anytime we see Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes go head-to-head. We've seen some great regular season games between these 2 over the years as well. I'm excited about this one to start the NFL season. Who do you got on NFL opening night? You going with the Chiefs or are you going with the Ravens? Type KC for Kansas City. Type BAL for Baltimore. Let us know in the comment section below. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less. Whether you're talking fantasy points, maybe it's rebounds in basketball, home runs in baseball, birdies in the PGA Championship going on this weekend. All sorts of different categories to choose from. Here's what I got on Prize Picks. I'm going with DK Metcalf to hit the more on 1,025.5 receiving yards this season. Got Lamar Jackson to have more than 3,600.5 passing yards this year as well. If I put $20 down, both these hit, that's going to turn into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with us. PrizePicks.com/SaleItS. Promo code SaleItS for a $100 deposit match on your first entry. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of NFL Daily. Glad to have them on board here on today's show. The number 3 game on my list is the Jets and the 49ers, another game involving San Francisco, and it is the much-anticipated return of Aaron Rodgers. If you recall, on Monday Night Football last year, after, 4 plays, he tore his Achilles, had that badass moment where he brought out the American flag and everything, and that was it for Aaron Rodgers' his first year with the New York Jets. Now we're going to see him open up the year on Monday Night Football again, taking on a team that has been his kryptonite. We know Aaron Rodgers grew up a San Francisco 49ers fan. We know about the infamous moment in the NFL draft when he said that the Niners were going to regret not drafting him and taking Alex Smith. There's some history there between Aaron Rodgers and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners coming off a Super Bowl appearance. A lot of high expectations there. They would love to set the tone early. Look for Aaron Rodgers and company to make some noise there in their Week 1 contest against San Francisco. Number 4 on my list, arguably the best rivalry in the NFL, the Cowboys and the Eagles. And I know that they play twice, but in particular, I'm looking at that December 29th matchup. This game will take place week 17. And this could determine who ultimately wins the division between these two teams. And the expectations are the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to be very close in talent level this year, that this is a division that could come down to the wire. It might be this game that ultimately decides it all. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, two of the best quarterbacks in football. It'll be just after Christmas, so you don't have to worry about snowballs being thrown at Santa Claus and all that, but should be an exciting atmosphere for Dallas and Philadelphia with a potential NFC East Division title on the line. Number 5, for me, it's the Harbaugh Bowl. The Ravens and the Chargers. November 25th, we will see Jim and John square off head-to-head for the first time in a very long time. If you recall, we had a Harbaugh Bowl in the Super Bowl several years ago where it was John Harbaugh and the Ravens that got the best of Jim Harbaugh in the San Francisco 49ers. Now, we see the Ravens traveling to Inglewood to take on the Chargers for this matchup. Two very good quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert. The Ravens have championship aspirations. The Chargers are looking like a borderline playoff team this year. This could be a crucial matchup for both those teams and bragging rights on the line in the Harbaugh household. Between the Harbaugh brothers, who is the better coach? Jim's coming off a national title at Michigan. John, of course, has the Super Bowl ring. Who's the better brother? Is it Jim or is it John? Type Jim for Jim Harbaugh. Type John for John Harbaugh. Let us know in the comments section. We are covering the National Football League each and every day here at NFL Daily, your one-stop shop for all things NFL with daily news and rumors, live shows twice a week. We'll have our Red Zone coverage throughout the NFL season as well. Never miss a moment. Stay up to date with everything you need to know across the NFL. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Stay up to date. Join the family of 300,000 plus subscribers here on the channel. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. Number 6 on my list, I'm going to go with the Bengals and the Chiefs. And the Bengals have been the kryptonite of sorts of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes only has one career victory against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. We saw this matchup in the AFC Championship a couple years ago where the Bengals went into Kansas City and defeated the Chiefs in overtime to get to the Super Bowl. The Bengals have had their fair share of wins in the regular season as well against Kansas City. Week 2, we should see the Bengals at full strength. Last year, they dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the year, right? Joe Burrow was gone for much of the season. T. Higgins was banged up. You would think week 2, the Bengals should be pretty healthy, and we should get a pretty good idea of how good the Bengals are at this point, if they're ready for prime time or not. This game going to be seen on CBS. I think we're in for a treat week 2. Tough start for Kansas City with Baltimore and Cincinnati to open up the year. Number 7 on our list, we're going with the Falcons and the Vikings. This is Kirk Cousins' return to Minnesota, assuming he's still the starter at that point and not Michael Penix Jr., as this game will take place in early December. And just the fact that Cousins is going back to Minnesota after leaving the Vikings in free agency, they wanted him back. Ultimately, he moves on to Atlanta, a Vikings team that has lost a lot. They're trying to figure themselves out. Late December could be a crucial game for them if they're in playoff contention. The Atlanta Falcons, meanwhile, this is a team that has a lot to prove. They're expected to compete towards the top of the NFC this year. Can they go in and get Cousins that win in Minnesota and kind of silence that crowd, if you will? I'll be intrigued. Is he going to get booed? Is he going to get cheered? How will he get recognized in Minnesota? I think it's a fascinating matchup. Number 8 on my list is Chiefs at Bills. And I know what some of you are thinking. When the Chiefs and Bills play, it's usually an incredible football game, right? The reason why I have this 8 on my list is because I'm skeptical about the Bills this year, folks. I have already said on record, I think the Bills are going to miss the playoffs this year. I think the Bills are going to take a step back. And so that's why I have this game lower, despite the fact that we saw one of the greatest playoff games of all time between these two teams a couple of years ago. Despite we saw a great game in the divisional round last year. I'm just not sold on Buffalo this year. That's why I have this game lower on my list. But it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Josh Allen. Mahomes going on the road to Orchard Park. It's going to be in mid-November. Could be some weather involved there. Should be a great atmosphere for this Kansas City-Buffalo game. Now, speaking of the Chiefs, are they going to repeat as Super Bowl champions? Are they going for 3 in a row? Will Mahomes get his 4th ring? What do you guys think? Chime in the comment section. Let us know why for yes, in for no. Number 9 on our list, on Christmas Day, the Baltimore Ravens face off with the Houston Texans on Netflix. Yes, if you don't have a Netflix subscription, you're going to have to subscribe before Christmas to get this game. A lot of hype around the Houston Texans this season. C.J. Stroud entering his 2nd year. All sorts of talent. The Stephon Diggs trade. Will Anderson, of course, his 2nd season. He's got a lot of hype. You brought in Danielle Hunter. The Texans are kind of the sexy pick, if you will. If it's not Kansas City, it's Houston. A lot of people think to win the AFC. This will be a crucial game for them if they want to get home field advantage in the AFC. And the same can be said for the Baltimore Ravens, as they're going to be a contending team with high hopes late in the season. This could decide who ultimately has home field advantage. Should be a great game there on Christmas Day. Last on my list, it's a Week 1 matchup. The Packers and the Eagles will take place in Brazil. And this game will be seen exclusively on on Peacock Network, on a Friday night. The Packers, a lot of hype about Jordan Love as he's entering his 2nd year as the starter. Can they build upon what they did at the end of last year, winning a playoff game, beating the Dallas Cowboys, coming up just short against San Francisco? Philadelphia at one point in the season last year was the best team in the NFL, but then they fell apart down the stretch. Can they get their season started on the right foot right away? Big game for both these teams. Should be an incredible atmosphere there in Brazil. Hopefully the turf is okay. That's always a concern anytime we do these international games. But very excited to see the Packers and the Eagles there on that opening Friday night. If you're ready for some football, spam Real One in the comments section. We certainly appreciate you. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of NFL Daily. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.